Hello, everyone. Welcome to the IG Live. I just wanted to give a little background and context about the Be Well and Slay Your Business 6-week program that I launched yesterday. I wanted to give you a little bit of background of some of the modules that you can expect and just some other details. This was born out of serving small business owners, founders, entrepreneurs, and kind of trying to find out what some of the needs were. Some of the biggest things that came back were feeling isolated in the work, feeling disconnected, managing stress, wanting strategies to regulate your nervous system, which are all things that I, as a business owner, have experienced. And so the reason that I've chosen to narrow in on this community is because this is going into my 4th year of the breathing teacher, which is crazy. And it just feels like I'm reaching a new point in the business and really, really, really recognizing and leaning in on my specific skill set and how that can really benefit other small business owners and founders. And I really am passionate about community. That's one of my core values. If you know what my core values are, you know community is always at the center of everything that I do, along with inclusivity, vulnerability, liberation, empowerment, and of course, breath. So before we move on to anything, I always like to begin anything I do with a couple of breaths. And so as you're just arriving in our space together, maybe you're watching this later, that's completely fine. But let's just roll the shoulders away from the ears and just puff up the chest a little bit, shine the heart a little bit more. And we're going to tap in with our breath here. So breathing in, expanding the abdomen like you are filling a balloon up. And on your exhale, you're going to release and let that go, let that fall away. Let's take 2 more breath cycles just like that on the inhale. Fill the belly up, expand. And on your exhale, let that oxygen just pour out of you, contract the ribs, let it go. Last breath all together. Take the deepest breath you've taken all week. Bring in a little bit more air. Hold. And a big exhale. Let it go. Good. So we're always being reminded to return to the breath. That is our most consistent tool that we have in this lifetime. So just want to give a little bit more context as we dive into who this mentorship, this 6-week group mentorship is for. It's for anyone who's identifies as a small business owner or founder, and you're just kind of feeling stuck and stagnant in your growth in your business. You might feel disconnected either from your work. Maybe you're feeling disconnected from your body. You're not really prioritizing your self-care into everything else that you have going on. You find that overthinking is really prevalent for you. You have a hard time relaxing, maybe even a hard time sleeping. And so with our time together, we meet bi-weekly. And so you'll come in, you'll get your grounding practice, you'll get your little bit of neuroscience. I'm going to be using my background of educational neuroscience to inform a lot of the work that we're doing. And then from there, you'll have some time to implement that. So whether we're practicing the strategy, whether we're filling the template out, you're going to have time to network and share about what's going on. It'll be like hot seat coaching style. You'll be able to ask questions about things that are specifically impacting you and receive support right live on the call from me and from each other. So you'll be able to leave with new connections. You'll be able to leave with accountability. You'll be able to leave with really clear guidelines and routines and how to bring those steps into what you're already doing. Because if we are trying to develop these new habits and we try to do 8 new things in one day, it's going to feel cumbersome. It's going to feel heavy. It's not going to feel full of ease, and then we're just not going to do it. So I am going to teach you how to make things really small, concise, and actionable. That is one of my strengths. I was working with a school recently, and there's these 3 big strategies that need to be rolled out. And instead of just blitzing all 3 at once, that's overwhelming, right? There's so much going on. There's a lot to teach, a lot of expectations. And so we just started with one, did that for 4 months, implemented it in every um, professional learning circle to really make sure that there was a lot of buy-in and that people could really make sure that they were doing that with fidelity. So that's kind of my style of doing things. And then finally, a lot of feedback came back about just down regulating our nervous system. That's a big thing that I'm hearing a lot. We're back in person, full throttle. A lot of things have gone back to normal, right? Whatever our new normal is. And so just thinking about like, how do we exist and navigate in this post pandemic era season? And like, what does that look like for us? So that is kind of a little bit about who it's for. We are going to be meeting virtually. I think one of the benefits of the pandemic is that it did open up a lot of opportunities for virtual connections. I know I did several trainings, including a prenatal yoga training. I did a vocal sound mentorship with a sound coach based in New York who really opened me up to understanding the power of my voice in getting to the next level and kind of like releasing some of those blockages. So, we're going to be doing our container virtually so that you can do it from wherever you are in the world. You can do it from the safety and the comfort of your own home or a co working space or whatever it is. So, you can participate, but also honor your individual needs. So, that's a little bit about that. Um, And so I just want to talk briefly through the modules and why I selected those modules and some of the things that you can expect to learn in the 6 different modules. So the first one is called Aligning with Values, Remembering and Expressing Your Authentic Self. I've been doing values work for years. When I work with educators, when I work with organizations, I've been pulled in to work with oncology offices, different medical practices to really work with the staff and the culture. And we always start with values and determining what those are, because values are the North Star of an organization. I know they're the North Star for my business. And when we take the time to identify what those values are, everything becomes really easy in terms of, yes, this collaboration aligns with me. No, this partnership does not feel in alignment with my values. So you always get to come back to what your values are. Can your values evolve over time? Absolutely. We're constantly evolving too. But it's good to take time and reflect on what are the grounding values and guidelines that are going to keep you anchored when there's so much change around you. There's so much consumption. We're constantly taking in other creators, other business owners on Instagram, on different social media outlets, on the television. Sometimes it can become overwhelming. So, just module 1 is all about leaning into your authentic values, your authentic voice, what makes you special, what makes people want to tap in with what you're offering. So that's all module 1. Module 2 is called Cultivating Worthiness and an Elevated Mindset. Worthiness. I'm being completely transparent with you. I don't even think I fully understood what it meant to feel worthy until last year, 2022. I was at an event. They had an affirmation deck, and I pulled the affirmation card, I am worthy. And it was the first time I had ever seen that. It was the first time I ever really thought about what it meant to be worthy. Since then, that created a light bulb for me that no matter what I do, no matter what I choose to um, do, I am worthy. Whether I chose to sleep in an extra 10 minutes or whether I chose to get up 5 minutes earlier and go do my Pilates routine, whatever happens, I am still worthy. And so we're going to lean into how to cultivate that worthiness for ourselves. Brene Brown does a lot of work around shame. She does a lot of work around vulnerability. And she says, um, not feeling worthy is the number one reason for our suffering. And so I really want to teach you how to work through that, how to remember who you are, and how to remember that no matter what you do, because you are here, you are worthy. You are worthy of being here. And so we'll talk about mindset hacks, how to reframe a situation, how to find happiness, right? I was working with a guide and he told me the two keys to happiness. You either change your situation, right? If you're finding yourself in an unhappy situation, you change your situation or you reframe it. You find a different way of looking at it. And so I want to teach you how to create an abundant and elevated mindset so that your thoughts are attracting that abundance back to you because that frequency is all connected. That's all what you're bringing in. So that's module 2. Module 3 is social media fundamentals fundamentals to authentically impact, connect, and grow. Full transparency, I've had a very complicated relationship. Do you remember Facebook when you could write it's complicated? I don't know if that's still an option. That is my feelings on social media. I mean, I've talked to girlfriends so many times like I want to delete my accounts. I don't want to do the accounts, like just such a complicated relationship with it. And in January 2023, I kind of decided that I needed to change my mindset about that and remember that it can be a helpful tool for connection. And that's how I use it. And so over this past month, I decided to commit to posting. I pretty much posted every day in January of 2023. And I saw the biggest growth I've ever had. I saw over 1,000% increase in accounts reached, 86% increase in the accounts that have engaged with me. And I really want to share about how I did that. You're going to be receiving a social media content calendar with full examples of what you can post every single day. If you're just like overthinking about that, we're going to talk about how to make it fun. Because I think for me, the shift has been just trying to have fun with it, showing more of my personality, showing things that are goofy about me, laughing at myself, sharing comments that other people make when I'm leading a breath work practice and my dog is like sighing in the background. Like different things like that have been really helpful for me. And I want to share some of those with you. Just let that vulnerability hang out. That's what people really connect to. And then module 4 is we're going to have a digital marketing expert come and give you like strategic expert advice and tips and tricks on how to implement that. All right, I'm trying to get this under 15 minutes. One of the biggest things that I hear for module 5, this is what inspired it: intention and goal setting, creating measurable outcomes. I'm hearing like, am I doing enough? Is this enough? Am I being productive enough? Is this productivity getting me where I want to be? And so we're going to talk about the power of intention. We're going to talk about how to set specific and measurable goals so we can see if where we want to be is where we're headed, but also, and even more importantly, how do we not get bogged down in those goals because we might not even be seeing the whole picture? And how do we stay in a flow state, a state of open energy to receive what these higher blessings or what these higher uh, outcomes could be for us rather than being in a fixed mindset where we're pigeonholing ourselves, basically. So that's all about module 5. And then finally, module 6 is our last one. It's called Building Better Boundaries, Prioritization Tools, and Sustainability. And so in this one, maybe you've seen some of the work I've done around boundaries. I've delivered so many workshops and trainings to different school districts. I've delivered it in other coaching arenas. I mean, it is the most important thing to have in place if we want a sustainable way of being. You might have seen on my Instagram a couple of weeks ago, I posted about passing out in a CVS bathroom my second week or my second year of teaching. Um, I I was so exhausted, so dehydrated. I was saying yes to everything, meetings during my lunch with students, signing up for all the committees. I would get there and watch the sunset from my classroom in Brooklyn. I mean, it was just completely um, idealistic and completely unsustainable. And so I had to learn the hard way from there that what I was doing wasn't working, and that if I was going to be able to show up for people, that I needed to show up for myself first. And that is still an everlasting constant journey. And so I have been able to find some practices and ways to do that for myself that I want to share with you. And I think accountability is always helpful. And so just being able to do that in this container, I'm really looking forward to it. So I just took you through a lot of what you can expect in the modules. Um, I'm going to be linking the um, s- uh, link to sign up through my website, and you'll see that there are a couple of different payment plan options. If none of those payment plan options work for you, please feel free to send me a message on Instagram. Make sure you're following me. My handle is at the breathing teacher, or you can shoot me an email, Jadine@thebreathingteacher.com. Thank you for your time, and I really hope to see you inside.